Hello and welcome to this channel again. Today, we're diving into the eerie world of the sci-fi horror The Unhealer. The story kicks off with a chilling scene. An old camping trailer rattles through the woods at night, finally coming to a stop as a man named Pfluger steps out, donning a headlamp and gripping a shovel. He prowls to an ancient Navajo grave and, with a greedy grin, steals a human bone, but as he pries it loose, a sudden jolt of magic surges from the grave, slamming him against his vehicle. Shaken but thrilled, he speeds off into the night with an evil laugh. We then shift to Kelly, a young man facing relentless bullying outside, marking the beginning of a journey filled with dark forces and unexpected twists. Some of the high school jocks are giving Kelly a hard time, mercilessly bullying him because of his eating disorder, pica, which drives him to eat non-food items. His friend, Dominique, tries to defend him, but things take a turn as the jocks lift Kelly upside down and shove him into a trash can, pouring soda over him while recording the humiliating scene on their phones. The next day, Kelly doesn't look too well. As he nervously munches on a pencil eraser, he notices his locker has been defaced with the cruel nickname Trash Boy scrawled across it in large, white letters. To make matters worse, the jock's video has begun circulating, making Kelly's torment public. The video of Kelly being tossed into the trash can spread like wildfire, and soon the entire school is laughing at him. Struggling with his unusual cravings ramen noodle lids, erasers, Kelly starts feeling physically sick. Concerned, his mother calls a doctor, but he explains that Kelly's condition goes beyond physical health. He needs psychological support, not just medical help. Meanwhile, in another part of town, a crowd gathers around Pfluger, who is revealed to be a faith healer. Despite his sketchy snake oil persona, Pfluger's powers are real, and he has the ability to heal. However, darkly, he uses his powers for selfish purposes, drawing others into his twisted agenda. Pfluger draws eager crowds with his so-called healing powers, charging them handsomely for a miracle. To impress, he calls an elderly woman with severe pain up front. Leaning heavily on her walker, she shuffles forward. With a flourish, Pfluger performs his magic, and the woman, now miraculously pain-free, tosses her walker aside, declaring her newfound freedom as the crowd erupts in cheers. But once they've dispersed, a Navajo man named Red Elk confronts Pfluger, his eyes burning with quiet accusation. Red Elk reveals that he knows Pfluger's secret. He stole these powers from an ancient grave. With a grave warning, he tells Pfluger that the magic will soon turn against him, and that one day, he will pay the ultimate price. Pfluger, dismissive and defiant, scoffs at Red Elk's warning and heads off to heal Kelly anyway. Later that day, he arrives at Kelly's home and attempts the healing, but things take a dark turn. Pfluger dies mid-ritual, unwittingly passing his powers to Kelly. Slowly, Kelly realizes his newfound abilities, and with them comes a surge of confidence. In the next scene, he stands up to one of his bullies who, undeterred, tries to hit him, only to find himself injured instead. Furious, the bully grabs a piece of lumber, swinging it at Kelly's head in one last attempt to strike him down, but fate has other plans. The bully's last attack backfires, leaving him with a concussion, and Kelly walks home triumphant. Soon after, he lands a job at a local pizza place, and thoughts begin to swirl about using his powers to earn money to help support his mom. But his mother, wary of the risks, warns that openly displaying his abilities could lead to serious trouble, and so Kelly reluctantly drops the idea. Later, Kelly stumbles upon another twist to his powers. If he consumes something belonging to someone else, they feel whatever he inflicts on himself. While sitting behind Dominique in class, her scrunchie slips from her hair and lands on his desk, sparking a dangerous curiosity in Kelly about the reach of his newfound influence. Kelly picks up Dominique's fallen scrunchie and, in a moment of curiosity, eats the tag before handing it back to her. Almost immediately, he begins to fantasize about her, and to his shock, she suddenly seems to share his feelings. Emboldened, he tries fantasizing about another girl, Sarah, with the same effect, leading to an awkward and powerful reaction in class as both girls and Kelly experience intense sensations. Embarrassed, he bolts out of the room, struggling to hide his flushed face and messy pants. Later, at a bonfire party, Kelly finds himself face to face with his bullies yet again. This time, however, he boldly stands his ground, even throwing a few mocking jabs, but the tension is thick in the air, and it's clear that the night is about to take a dangerous turn. Just as tensions at the bonfire peak, Gus, the football coach and father of two of Kelly's bullies, arrives and orders them to back off. But the night takes a dark turn as, on his way home, Kelly is ambushed by the bullies, who chase him down in their car. Brett, the driver, plows into Kelly, but thanks to Kelly's strange powers, Brett alone suffers the effects of the impact, leaving him in agony as the others flee in fear. Moments later, Dominique and Sarah arrive, finding Kelly hurt but alive. He explains the bizarre connection between him and Brett, and Dominique, though shaken, accepts his story. The following day, back at school, Kelly and Dominique quietly share rice cakes and reflect on the disturbing events, their friendship deepened by the unsettling truth they now share. Dominique tells Kelly that the police suspect a malfunctioning airbag caused the crash, brushing aside the real story. As the two bond over shared secrets, Dominique gently encouraged Kelly to ask her out, sparking the start of a budding romance. But the peace doesn't last. While taking out the trash at his job at Gracie's Pizza, Kelly is suddenly confronted by Red Elk, who has pieced together the truth about Kelly's powers. Kelly nervously confirms his suspicions, sharing his origin story before hastily retreating back to work. That night, however, the bullies lie in wait outside his trailer, ready to make their next sinister move. Believing Kelly's trailer is empty, the bullies pull a cruel prank, yanking it off its foundation. But the impact rips the stove from the wall, filling the trailer with gas. Inside, Kelly's mother, who had been napping on the couch, wakes up in terror, trapped and desperate to escape. In her panic, she accidentally knocks over a lamp, which sparks, igniting the gas and triggering a massive explosion. Hearing the blast, Kelly rushes back, frantically digging through the wreckage to save her, but he's too late. She's already gone. Heartbroken, he carries her charred body outside, collapsing to his knees in anguish. Lying in a hospital bed, Kelly stares blankly at the ceiling in shock, unscathed, but grappling with the weight of his loss. Without any next of kin, he faces the harsh reality of being placed into foster care. Just then, Red Elk arrives, intent on informing the sheriff about Kelly's stolen magical powers. Skeptical, the sheriff brushes him off, but Red Elk insists that one day, the sheriff will need to reconsider his doubts. Later, during his mother's funeral, overwhelmed by grief, Kelly slips away from the crowd, seeking solace at Pfluger's grave. There, Dominique finds him, and as he shares his sorrow, he tells her how much he will miss her, but he knows he must leave and willingly stepping into an uncertain future. As Kelly grapples with the uncertainty of foster care, he and Dominique finally share a kiss, a bittersweet farewell before parting ways. Alone, he impulsively eats a leaf from a strange plant growing near his mother's grave, only to be seized by violent nausea. Meanwhile, the sheriff delivers chilling news about his mother's death, hinting at foul play. Piecing together the details, Kelly suspects the jocks who have tormented him may be involved. His fears are confirmed when they drive past, flipping him off and hurling cruel insults. In a surge of anger, Kelly leaps from the car, disappearing before the sheriff can catch up. Determined to confront the truth, he begins to unravel the mystery of his mother's tragic fate. Fueled by a thirst for revenge, Kelly learns that the jocks are heading to the creek, and he stealthily follows them. As he approaches, he sees them laughing, swimming, and drinking beer, presenting the perfect opportunity. In a chilling move, Kelly snatches a piece of one jock's clothing, consuming it to channel his magic from a distance. Then, wrapping the rest of the shirt around his neck, he begins to choke himself, causing the unsuspecting bully in the water to drown. Emerging from his hiding spot, Kelly revels in his triumph, but his victory is short-lived. One of the jocks spots him and bolts to get the sheriff. With danger closing in, Kelly realizes he must make a hasty escape before his dark secret is revealed. In the next scene, Dominique gazes out of her window, her thoughts occupied, when her mom warns her to keep it closed, fearing that Kelly might come looking for her. Just as her mother leaves the room, Kelly appears at the window, his face a mask of determination. Dominique, concerned for him, urges him to reconsider his path of revenge, suggesting instead that he should persuade the police to confess to their involvement in his mother's death. However, the following day in science class, Kelly storms in, fueled by rage, and demands a confession from one of the bullies. Instead of cowering, the bully retaliates violently, attempting to kill Kelly for daring to confront him about the murder, turning the classroom into a battleground and pushing Kelly closer to the edge. In a shocking twist, the bully retaliates by throwing acid at Kelly, causing his face to melt away in a grotesque display as Kelly narrowly escapes the chaos. That night, Sarah, who is dating one of the jocks, recounts what she witnessed at the funeral, how Kelly had eaten those strange weeds and subsequently fallen ill. Piecing the clues together, they realize that these weeds are Kelly's kryptonite and set out to harvest some to use against him. Later, emboldened by their plan, Kelly confronts two of the jocks and their father, Gus, on the football field, having stolen and consumed clothes from the back of the sheriff's car to amplify his powers. In a desperate bid for revenge, he uses a power drill on himself, channeling the pain to unleash his abilities, aiming directly for the jock's knees in a brutal act of defiance. As the tension escalates, the jock attempts to spray Kelly with a tank full of a green liquid derived from the grave weeds, but just as he lunges forward, Dominique intervenes, pleading with him to stop. In the chaos, Gus, the jock's father, tackles the sheriff and seizes his gun, creating further mayhem. Seizing the moment, the jock manages to spray Kelly, weakening him considerably. With a twisted sense of urgency, he instructs his dad to take the shot while Kelly is vulnerable. However, in a moment of desperation, Dominique quickly wipes enough of the liquid off Kelly to mitigate its effects. The confrontation takes a deadly turn as Gus pulls the trigger, aiming for Kelly's head, but the shot backfires, tragically killing Gus instead and leaving everyone in stunned silence. The chaos escalates as Gus's bullet not only takes his life, but also tragically kills the jock, since Kelly still has a piece of his clothing lodged in his stomach. Devastated, Dominique turns on Kelly, blaming him for the deaths of everyone involved, and threatens to break up with him if he doesn't agree to go with Red Elk to complete a ritual intended to sever him from the dark powers. However, when they attempt the ceremony, it quickly unravels. The power has been intertwined with Kelly for far too long, becoming an inseparable part of him. In a desperate turn, they realize that the only way to free him from the power is through death. Just as hope seems lost, both Kelly and Dominique are caught in the line of fire of an officer's shotgun blast, each fatally wounded as they collapse together, the weight of their choices crashing down around them. As they tumble into Pfluger's open grave, tragedy strikes. Dominique dies instantly while Kelly, defying the odds, magically heals and survives. In a heart-wrenching decision, Kelly consumes the heart of Pfluger's corpse, renouncing the dark power that had consumed him and embracing death instead. As the magic leaves him, his body is engulfed in a vivid slideshow of all the lives he had touched and the deaths he had narrowly escaped. In one final moment of release, he falls backward, lifeless, a bullet hole marking his sacrifice. The movie closes with Dominique stirring awake in the back of an ambulance, her injuries miraculously healing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more thrilling content.